Alright, so this video I'm going to show you how to stitch the bottom vice program, the vice stop bottom, to the engraving code. So obviously you're going to write the engraving code by hand. That's right here. So I've just kind of written this up. This is real quick. Just called up a tool 2. I can actually change that because I'm using tool 2 in the other one. So I'm going to call it tool 3 and then just change my values here. Alright, so I'm going to use tool 3. It's going to be a 1/8 ball end mill is what we're going to be using for this. And I also have my vice bottom, which I accidentally made a vice stom bottom. I accidentally had a typo and I typed in the name there. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of this code and I'm going to enter it right about here. Actually, I'm going to enter it right about here. And it's going to give me automatic lines here. I'm just going to copy and paste this. I'm going to hit Control C, and I'm going to go to the middle one and hit Control V. And as you can see, I left a little space here. This here line is obviously not right. This is something that Mastercam posts. So you have to watch out for this. It's going to send it, it's going to use a G20. This is okay, I guess, for in-between tools. We generally use the G53, Z0, G49 code. This will do basically the same thing. I like the G43 code, so generally what I do is I'll just paste over that. Okay. Alright, so I'm going home, spindles off, and then I'm going to do my tool change. So I can get rid of this line here. Okay, it's going to do a tool change, doing my tool, or calling up the next tool, my first tool, turning the spindle on, going to location. This is the location where I want to engrave my text. Just note, this location is not necessarily going to work for you. It is not going to center the text in the part. In order to figure that out, you are going to have to take a piece of scrap or something, and you're going to have to engrave in the scrap first, see where it's engraved, and compare it to the dimensions of your real part to figure out where the center is and where these dimensions need to be. Here I'm coming down with my Z value to 0.1, and here's my engraving text. You can see here I have an E, which is my feed rate for plunge, an F, which is my feed rate for lateral cutting, a J, which is the height of my text, a P0, which just tells it that I am going to be engraving regular letters, an R.01, that's a very low R plane. That's just because when you're doing engraving, it is going to do a lot of Z moves. So I'm going to keep that pretty close. Since I know that I've already milled this thing flat, I actually faced it off, I know that this is going to be fine. I don't have to worry about this hitting anything. That's only 10 thousandths of clearance, plenty. And then, of course, I'm just repeating my center point, or my start point, which, FYI, is in the lower left-hand corner of the text. So if I were to engrave this JK, my start point would be right here where my cursor is pointing to, in the lower left-hand corner. That's the point I want to define. And then I need to find out where that point is on my part so that this JK is centered on my part, both in the X and the Y location I want them centered. It does not have to be within a certain thousandth of an inch. It just needs to look like it's centered. So it has to be pretty close visually. And then, of course, I have my Z in here, which is my depth. I'm only going to go 5 thousandths deep with this tool. I'll start out with that, and then I may increase it depending on how it looks. So I may increase this, maybe go a little deeper if it's just a really thin wire, or a little thin wire-thin line that are making up my text. After that, I am going to cancel this can cycle and bring my Z up, M5, bringing my Z home, and down here, as you can see, again, this is something that Mastercam put in. I split those apart. This needs to be a 53, X. I'm going to pretend like I'm doing this on a VF2. It's going to be an X -15, point Y0, and of course an M30. And that's it. I spliced those two together, and now this code should do everything. It should mill off the carrier strip on the bottom of the stop. It should chamfer it, and then this here will engrave my text. That is all there is to splicing these together. This text also, this cycle right here, this engraving cycle, this is a good example of how you would write it. The only difference would be probably this start location, because I don't think that is going to put you in the center of your part, although I'm not sure, because I just kind of made these numbers up just for this demo. So if you have any questions, as usual, I'm available in my office hours, or of course you can see me during class. Just make sure that you save this, and also when you go to backplot this, if you try to backplot it, I don't believe that the text will backplot, and no, it will not backplot. So just be aware of that it doesn't backplot the text.